and welcome back to Mariana Mass Books. My name is Mariana and today I am here with my HISTORATHON Quarter 2 pile of possibilities. Which is why, as you can see, my books are falling because I took out a lot of books. So I have a lot of physical books that I'm going to talk about, and then I'll mention a couple of ebooks that I also have ready to go. For anyone who doesn't know, HISTORATHON is a year-long reading event, readathon, that is designed to promote the reading of non-fiction history. It was created by Vin at Revenant Reads, and it has a lot of co-hosts that I will link down below so you can check out all their channels. Honestly, one of my favorite parts of my reading, I'm always reading a history book. There's always history going on in the background, whether I talk about it or not. So the structure that we follow is a chronological structure. So we divide, or Vin divided, the year into quarters, and each quarter represents a time period that we read about. So for quarter 1, we read from prehistory to 500 CE, I think. And then from quarter 2, which is the one that I'm going to talk about today, goes from 500 to 1500 CE. Historically, my weakest quarters have always been quarter 1 and quarter 4, because my main interests when it comes to history always lie in quarter 2 and 3. So I have a lot of books and I'm very excited about the starting quarter 2. I am very much in a medieval mood at the moment. If you've watched my HISTORATHON videos, you know that I love reading about medieval Europe. I think it comes from my love of fantasy. That's where my love of the Middle Ages began, and then I just fell in love when I started reading history. I watch movies or listen to medieval music. Anyway, I'm very much in a medieval mood at the moment, more than usual, because you know that medieval stuff is very much my thing, but more than usual because I'm currently taking an online course for general medieval history, and then I'm going to do history of the church and medieval philosophy, medieval literature. Anyway, so I'm very much in a medieval mood. And then also, of course, I have some Mesoamerica, because I'm always also reading Mesoamerican history, Mexican history, etc. So with that said, let's just go ahead and start. Oh, also, a lot of these books are in Spanish, but I'm going to mention all the titles in English, roughly translating the titles, and I will write in the description the titles that were in English. And if you are interested in a particular title that I mentioned, that you don't see in the description, then please ask me about it in the comments, and I will gladly let you know the original title. I just think it's easier that way, because that way you can know what everything is about and what all the topics that I'm reading are going to be about. And so I'm going to start with a book that actually is going to double for HISTORATHON and also for People April, which is a readathon I'm participating in as well. And it's my most recent acquisition. I'm super happy to have this. And this is The Lives and Loves of the Troubadours and Their Ladies by Martin de Riquer. This is a beautiful edition by Acantilado Editions, which is just a fabulous publishing house, and I found this super cheap because it's very expensive usually. And this is just a collection of mini biographies about troubadours and their ladies. As the title says, Lives and Loves of the Troubadours and Their Ladies. This is a collection from texts from the time. It's not a collection of their work, it's a collection of their lives, texts about their lives. So there are all sorts of troubadours from different geographical areas, and I'm just really excited about this one, which as I said will double also for People April. And then in that same vein of mini biographies that will double for People April, I have Humanists of Mesoamerica by Miguel León Portilla. This is a collection of mini biographies of different characters that are either from Mesoamerica or that are important for the study of Mesoamerica. So it's Humanists of Mesoamerica. So this one includes characters that are, or people, real life historical people that either are from quarter 2 of HISTORATHON or beyond. So I would dip in and out of this, as well as the Troubadours one. I would dip in and out of them. I'm not going to read them from start to finish. And then I have a kind of a miscellaneous one, but it's just very cool. So this is 500 years of King Arthur and his books. But this is not only about King Arthur. This is a collection of essays about knightly literature. I'm going to need to Google what the correct terminology is, because I always call it knightly literature, but I'm not sure what the technical correct term is in literature in English. Novels about knights. What do you call that in English? In Spanish, it's novelas de caballerías. Either way, these are essays about novels about knights, whatever the correct terminology is. And I'm super stoked about this one. And speaking about books that I'm stoked about, oh my god, am I stoked about the next one? And that is The Marvelous and the Quotidian in the Medieval West by Jacques LeGoff. Jacques LeGoff is a super respected medievalist historian, French medievalist historian. I'm not sure if he's also super translated in English. I'm sure there must be some Jacques LeGoff in English. He is an author that I've been wanting to read forever, and this one is about the marvelous and the like an essay about the role of the marvelous in the everyday, and how the marvelous and the real mix together in medieval thought, in medieval life, and what that means for politics, what that means for culture. It's just super interesting, lovely cover. And very excited about this one. I'm very excited about all of them, obviously. And then another one that is kind of like a random, funny, unique, I guess, choice for HISTORATHON, but I'm very happy that I have it. Is a Weird Medieval Guys book, and the subtitle is How to Live, Laugh, Love, and Die in Dark Times. So it's, kind of making fun of the live, laugh, love trend in online, but it's how to live, laugh, love, and die in the Middle Ages. If you have either Twitter or Instagram, the Weird Medieval Guys account, they just publish images of manuscripts of marginalia of weird medieval guys. So the snails, the animals, the weird drawings from medieval marginalia. And I love the account because they just publish the weird images, but they always cite the sources, where the images come from. And then, because that was very successful, they created a podcast that is called the Weird Medieval Guys podcast, and it's very funny. And now they have a book. And the host of the podcast and the creator of the account is Olivia Swarthout. And it's just a random collection of texts, images, fun facts. I think there are even like little games that you can do. It's just a random miscellaneous book that is fun. And yeah. And then I do have more about medieval Europe, but they are more like art books, big art books, and I have those in another pile. So I'm going to move on to miscellaneous normal sized books. And the first one that I have is Gods and Heroes of Ancient Mexico by Enrique Florescano. Enrique Florescano is the author of The Origins of Power in Mesoamerica, which I have talked about in videos before, but Enrique Florescano is the same author, so I have this one by him, Gods and Heroes of Ancient Mexico. But he also has one specifically about Quetzalcoatl, who is a super interesting figure in Mesoamerica. The feathered serpent, if you've heard about that figure. And I think I want to read that one more than I do this, because he cites that often in the Origins of Power in Mesoamerica, and I'm just very intrigued by that figure. So yeah, those two. Like I don't own that one, but I would get it in ebook. But I do have this one on paper as a paper book. And then I have this one, The Body of Time, and the subtitle is Codexes, Cosmology, and Chronographic Traditions of the Center of Mexico, Middle Mexico, I don't know. So it's all about time, the way they measure time, their calendars, and all that interesting stuff. It's a chunky book, but I'm very excited about it, as I'm very excited about everything that I'm talking about in this video. Finally, I'm going to mention a book that I already talked about in quarter one, and that is Divine to Act, which is an essay collection about divination and history of divination and divinatory practices in different cultures. So some of these cultures belong to quarter one, but some of them belong to quarter two, and it's just a very interesting topic that I could potentially read. I don't think I mentioned this at the beginning of the video. So I mean, we all know what pile of possibilities are, right? I'm not going to read every single book mentioned in this video. We know this. I just wanted to mention, these are not all the books I own, that belong to quarter two. These are all the books I own that at the moment sound interesting. So, to finish with the regular sized books, I'm going to mention a Historathon adjacent book. It's not specifically Historathon, it's Historathon adjacent, and that would be a poetry collection. There is a Nahuatl poetry collection, so the reason why I'm including this is because it has texts or poems, written in the era of the Aztecs, and so like ancient, could we call it ancient Mexican, ancient, because it's from ancient Mexico, right? Ancient Mexican poetry, and it has texts about those texts, so it has small explanations and stuff. So that's why I'm including it, because it's poems from the time. In the Discord we have the side quests, where we talk about history related stuff that is not precisely non-fiction books. So it can be either documentaries or period movies or period TV shows or historical fiction, or I think this could be a side quest, literature from the time. I think it's a cool side quest. And now I'm going to move on to the non-regular sized books, meaning art books. I feel like the camera is crooked and I am getting dizzy. Anyway, I'm just going to continue. So the art books of sorts that I have. The first one is one that I'm not sure it's even going to fit on frame. Okay, there we go. So this is From Red to Mexican Pink. So there is a color which is like this one, kind of, yeah, this one that you see here in the cover, that is known as Rosa Mexicano, which means Mexican pink, and it is very much like the national color. Um, if you like in architecture, in design, in art, like if you want to make a restaurant that is looking Mexican traditional folk, then you would make your logo traditional. Then you would make your logo, or paint your restaurant Mexican pink. That's the easiest way to do it. And this is a study from the perspective of history and art history of the evolution from red, which was a very important color in Mesoamerican tradition. How did that evolve? From the red, that is very much the color in Mesoamerican tradition, towards the current, Mexican pink. I don't know, I just think it's such a cool topic, and these are a collection of essays written by different historians. It has pictures. And this one, actually, this editorial publishes their magazines in English and in Spanish. So in the beginning, the first half are the essays in Spanish, and then in the back half are the essays in English. So, if anyone is interested in this topic or in any topic done by Arts of Mexico, you can definitely check it out, because all their magazines have Spanish and English. So that's cool. Then this is one that I had already talked about, and this is Monumental Mexica Sculpture, meaning Monumental Aztec Sculpture. And this is about monumental Aztec sculpture. I'm also going to try to show you on screen, because it's also a very beautiful art book, and this has essays about Aztec life, culture, etc. And then at the beginning it has those general, but then it has a chapter for each of the major monumental sculptures from Aztecs. So the Coyuxauqui, the Coatlicue, and then going back to Europe, I have this gorgeous one that I got for my birthday last year, which is the Flemish Masters from Van Eyck to Bruegel. Van Eyck to Bruegel. Gorgeous art book that my mom gifted me for my birthday. And this one is all about the Flemish Masters from Van Eyck to Bruegel. So this one covers quarter 2 and quarter 3. So this, I'm mentioning it here, but it also covers quarter 3. Yes. Hopefully I'm also showing you some images on screen. And then finally, for the paper books, I have this one that I talked about last year, which is The History of Tarot, by Isabelle Nadolny. This one is translated from the French. Last year it wasn't translated to English yet. I'm not sure if it is. If it is, I will link it down below. It's also a gorgeous book. It's also full of illustrations. Just for people who don't know, tarot was first created in Italy in the Middle Ages. The oldest tarot decks we have, I actually own a beautiful facsimile from one of them, are from the 15th century, so 1400s. in Italy. The Visconti Sforza family commissioned the first tarot decks that we know of. There, I was going to talk about others that were before, but this is not a history of tarot video. So those are the paper books that I own, and then just real quick, some ebooks that I have, and maybe audiobooks that I want to read. And I guess I'll start with that one because it actually also kind of relates to the history of tarot book, and that one is The Tigress of Forli by Elizabeth Leff, and that one was postulated as a proposal for a group read. They did a poll for different books, and people voted for the group read. I voted for this one. This one didn't end up winning, but I have access to it on audio. And actually, the one that won, I would have to buy that one, and I don't. I didn't want to buy another book, and so I'm actually going to go ahead and just listen to this one. And The Tigress of Forli is the life of Caterina Sforza. From Italy. And as I mentioned, my favorite tarot, which is one of the oldest tarot we know about, is the Visconti Sforza, that was commissioned from the Visconti Sforza family in Italy. The Sforza and the Visconti were prominent Italian families. They were prominent in politics, and one fun fact is that they commissioned the tarot deck. That is very beautiful. You know, when I saw the name Caterina Sforza, I'm guessing, and she is from a prominent Italian family from Renaissance. I'm guessing she is a descendant of the same Sforza family. And I don't know, that just caught my attention. I thought that was very cool. And then the two that I own on my Kindle that I can think about are Femina by Janina Ramirez, which is about women in the Middle Ages, and The Light of My Eyes, Motherhood in the Middle Ages by Maria de Jesus Fuente. That one I already started, but you know, I like to dip in and out of books, and actually I'm reading that one with my mom, and we are slowly reading through that one. So those would be the two that I own. Oh, I also have some from the class that I mentioned that I'm taking. There are people who have shared PDFs and stuff. So I do have other Jacques LeGoff books. I have a book about the Thaumaturg Kings. I'm not sure if that's the name in English. I have a book about the medieval Spain, and it's a book in maps. So it's kind of like an atlas of how the Spanish map changed over the years, over the centuries, and it focuses on the medieval period. So that one is super interesting. So I do have others on my Kindle that I might dip in and out of as the mood strikes. As I said, I'm talking about the stuff that sounds interesting at the moment, but you know, pile of possibilities. So there are others that I want to read that I don't own, that I told myself I'm not going to buy stuff. But if you remember, I also told you guys that in my low buy goal, then I think I'm keeping to it. I didn't say no buy, I said low buy. But one of the things that I'm allowed to buy are Historathon books, and there are some that I want. I'm not going to talk about them because I said that I was only going to talk about books I own. So that would be it for my pile of possibilities. Hopefully it was fun. It was fun for me. And yeah, that would be it. Let me know in the comments if you what you think about this. What are you going to read for Historathon if you are participating? If not, you can still comment what sounds interesting. And yeah, that would be it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you soonish with another bookish video. And in the meantime, I wish you happy reading.